Welcome into signing day for the class of 2024. It figures to be an action-packed day on buffstampede.com. Excited to be joined by Chase Howell, who follows Colorado football recruiting very closely, talks about it each week on the SCO Show. Chase, it feels different this year during the early signing period. Last year, there were so many moving pieces. Even some of the guys that were committed to Carl Durrell's staff were still kind of up in the air at this point. It feels like the fact that this staff is going into year two, they've got a little bit more traction kind of going into this early signing period.
Yeah, and I think they've had a clear plan. I think they knew that they wanted to sign around 10, 15 high school guys. And I think for the most part, they've wrapped that up. We still might see a surprise or two. Deion Sanders always has a surprise under his sleeve on signing day. But I think for the most part, they've wrapped up high school recruiting and they really focused on the transfer portal over the last 2 weeks, which for good reason. And they've done a great job of that as well.
It's really been a whirlwind ride. I mean, you had those surprises last winter that came about and got people excited. And then all of the behind the scenes footage, I think, just really fueled the anticipation for Colorado when they come out and have success early on, but then falter, finish at 4-8. So you kind of got up and down with your emotions as a Colorado football fan, but it's definitely trending back up in the right direction in terms of the talent that's coming into the program. How much does that make you feel like it's going to continue to maybe trend a little bit more upwards instead of kind of having those dips as a program as they build under Coach Prime?
Yeah, I think it's funny. We did a podcast maybe about 2 months ago, and we were talking about completely different recruits than we would be talking about on a show right now. We were talking about guys like Aaron Butler and Talon Chandler, and now over the last few weeks, they've added guys like Jordan Seaton and Draylon Miller and Cam McKell. That's probably the three top kids in this recruiting class. So things have changed a lot, just as it changed throughout the football season on the field. But clearly they are still able to attract talent to Boulder. And they've still done a great job of being able to bring in some good players.
Because this is the second impressive big haul that they have under Coach Prime, it does feel like the outside expectations are changing now to where last year you see the prognosticator set the over under at 3.5, and that ended up being closer than it should have been. But now I think when you look ahead to 2024 and you look at the talent that they're bringing in, there's always going to be a few haters out there. But I feel like all of a sudden Colorado is going to go into the national perception of being a legit contender in the Big 12 based largely off what they've done recruiting here since that Utah game.
Absolutely. You look at what they've done at the transfer portal and Deion Sanders and the rest of the staff, Corey Phillips, they had a clear plan of bringing in some big boys, bringing in some big bodies. And I think they've definitely accomplished that. I think that's why people are going to be talking about them in a more positive light heading into the season next year. But you also look at how they built this team for the future, and there's plenty of talent that are only going to be freshmen and sophomores next year. And I think they have done a great job of being able to build for the next 3 years and not just next year, even though that seemed to be the narrative by the media for a while there.
All right. If you love college football recruiting, this is one of your favorite days of the year. The early signing day is here, and we're going to have coverage for you all day long on buffstampede.com. Stay tuned in often throughout the day.